Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a video today. I'm looking at my table and I'm like, man, I have a lot of stuff to talk about, but I'm going to provide you with timestamps, so do not fear. I am talking about my Sephora VIB recommendations. This is an event that happens twice a year. It happens for VIB, it happens for VIB Rouge. If you are VIB Rouge, you get to start shopping today. So I have compiled a very large selection of my recommendations. If I have time at the end, I'm also going to insert a few of my wish list items, but I will be doing a haul. I'm going to put all the information for dates as to when you can shop, depending on what tier you are within the VIB system, down in the description box, so be sure and check that out. When I watch the VIB event recommendation videos, I always feel like people say, this is the time to stock up on things that you use all the time, and it's also the time to buy expensive things. While yes, I believe that because you are getting a discount, I also think it's just the time to shop for stuff you want. Like, even if it's the mid-range, mid-tier as far as price point goes, you're still getting a percentage off. And if you want it, what better time to get it than when you can get some money off? So without further ado, let's jump in. I may not talk about every single item in every category that I talk about, but I will link them. So be sure and look in the description box because I'm gonna have a lot of links for y'all to look at and decide if maybe you want to add them to your cart as well. I'm going to go in order of how I apply things to my face because to me that's just the easiest to keep track of. I do have 3 foundations to talk about, 2 of which I'm using today. I decided to mix a couple of them. The first one is Kogan Do Aqua Foundation. I've talked about this a lot. It showed up in my All About Foundations video. I love this foundation so much. And I've mixed it with the next foundation that I'm talking about or recommending, and it's the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better Foundation. I did a whole review on this, and I love this as well. They are both very lightweight. They both have more of a natural finish to the skin, like a satin finish. I feel like maybe leaning a little bit luminous. I am in the color Neutral 31 in this and 143 in this. So again, I took 1 pump of each today and that's what I have on my skin. And you honestly cannot go wrong with either one of them. And the final foundation is the, y'all, it is dirty. I think my kids have been in this. The NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation. I use this in a new makeup video, so I don't have a completely separate review, but I love this foundation so much that I went out and bought some shades for my kit, and probably the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 client pictures that I have posted on Instagram have this foundation on their skin. I find that it works great, not just for oily skin types, which you would think with the matte name, wonderful on my normal skin. I feel like you could mix it in with an illuminator if you have more dry skin, if you didn't want that like super matte finish, but I don't even think this gives a super matte finish. This is more of like a satin matte in my opinion. It's a great mixing foundation. So I can mix this with any other foundation in my collection and it would work. So love this. And those are the 3 foundations. Now next comes concealer. And I have 2 that I'm going to talk about, one of which you probably have every idea that I'm going to mention it, the Kosas Revealer Concealer. It is one of my very favorite concealers of all time. This is in the shade 3.5. So to give you an idea of that, that is 3.5. Very, very, very creamy. I've broken the top. Like it's seen some love. But it's not so creamy that it's so emollient that it's going to crease and move around all day. I just find that it gives great coverage, does not crease on me at all. At all. I never have to worry about that when I wear this concealer. Now, another one that I was kind of like, when I first tried it, but then I started really falling in love with it, which happens a lot to me, especially with concealers, I feel like. And this is the one I have on today. It's the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer. This is in the color Light Medium 9. I also have Light 7. I prefer the light medium 9 shade. And again, that's what I have on today. So you can see the light medium 9 and the Pat McGrath is a little more neutral, where this has a little more yellow in it, which is good for brightening. So it just depends on what you're looking for. And obviously both concealers have a wider range of colors, but this is just what works on me. Both are fabulous, and I think that you would love either one if you tried them out. Now, speaking of concealer, I have to talk about my favorite under eye setting powder, which is also from Pat McGrath Labs, the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection, and that's all I can read. That's how much is worn off. Under eye setting powder, I believe. This is in the shade Light. You can see how much I love it. But here's the thing, as much as I use this, which is basically every single day, it has lasted me a very long time for how small the packaging appears to be. It's very finely milled. You don't need a lot. This light color looks super white and scary in the pan, but it really just blends into my skin. I don't even find that it gives that much of a brightening effect. It's more of a translucent shade in my opinion. Now, if you have super dark skin, you're gonna wanna pick one of the other colors, but I believe there are 3 shades in the range, 3 to 4, so you'll be able to find something that works. But I just love that this is basically undetectable under the eyes. It definitely does not lead to any cakiness, and it sets any concealer underneath perfectly. Now, if we're going to talk about powders for the face, I'll go through these fairly quickly because a couple of them I've talked about quite often. This one is kind of a given, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish foundation, I almost said foundation, powder. This is in the color medium. This is the 3rd compact that I have used and almost gone through. This is great to set your face in general, but I really like this for when I am done with my makeup and if I'm like, oh, I'm a little shiny in areas that I may not want to be shiny in, I will take a little like sponge and just press a little bit into those areas. And it completely takes that away without looking matte and flat. So honestly, you can't go wrong with this. There are 3 or 4 colors in this, but again, this is medium. I know a lot of people like to use fair to set their under eyes. I haven't tried it, but I can imagine it's fabulous. This I keep in my purse. I also have one in my kit. This is from La Mer, and it's their pressed powder. This is how much I use this stuff because I can't see the back. This is in the color translucent. Again, they do have colors in this. This is my favorite all-time touch-up powder. And I know people are like, holy cow, you really spent $95 on a touch-up powder? No, I spent $95 on a powder, and while I do like it to set the face, I found quickly that I love it even more to touch up. If I get the slightest bit shiny throughout the day, this will take it away like that. I use the puff that it comes with, and it lives in my purse. Now, in my kit, I use it not as a touch-up powder, but more as a powder for a little bit oilier skin, or if their oils are coming through in places where I don't want them to by the time I'm done with the makeup, I will slap that on and they'll be good to go. And then finally, this is the newest one. This is from Shiseido, and it is the Synchro Skin Invisible Silk Loose Powder. This has more of a radiant finish in my opinion. So keep that in mind if you're someone that doesn't want to add extra luminosity to their skin with their powder. You might want to skip on this and try one of the other 2. But this is also a loose formula where the others are pressed. The only thing I don't like about this is the packaging. It does have this netting in it, which I find makes it a little bit hard to actually pick up the powder with a brush. Now, if you're using the puff that it comes with, you're not going to have an issue. I like to use a brush, not a puff. So if I had one con to say, it would be that, but otherwise it's really, really, really pretty on the skin. I used this on top of this in the review video that I did, and you can see how beautiful it is as far as a finish. Let's talk about bronzers. Y'all have so many bronzers, so I'm only gonna talk about 2, but I will link all of them. 2 of them you'll probably know that I'm gonna talk about. This one is the one I have on my face today, and it's from Tom Ford. Now, I do always go to the Tom Ford section during these events, because again, it's expensive, and if I can get some percentage off, then even better. I like to see if there's anything that maybe I want to check out that I don't have yet. This would be something to keep on your radar if you have not tried out the bronzers. This is the Glow Bronzer in Gold Dust. So it's what I have on my face today. It is not, I mean, when it says glow bronzer, it's kind of misleading because it is not a super shiny bronzer. It has a tad bit of a sheen to it, and it catches the light slightly, but it's not like it has sparkles. So I don't want anybody to be scared of it if they are not someone who is a fan of a luminous bronzer. One of the other ones that I'm going to link is a legit luminous bronzer. This one is more of a satin matte, in my opinion. Now, Gold Dust is the warmer version. Terra is going to be the cooler. Now, let's talk about a luminous cream bronzer. This is fairly new to my collection, but I really, really like it. This is from Tower 28. There's a few Tower 28 products on my wish list. This is the Bronzino cream bronzer in West Coast. So I believe this is the lighter of the two. This is luminous. I don't know if you can, I mean, that's luminous, but oh my goodness, it's so pretty. And I know it looks scary right there, but it just gives the skin this beautiful, natural, healthy look to it when you apply it. I know some people only like to wear bronzers like this in the summer. I'm like, no, girl, I wear them all year long. I took forever to try that out, and when I talked about it in a video, everybody was like, oh, Tower 28 is so awesome. You know, you got to try this, you got to try this. So probably some of y'all, most of y'all have maybe even tried that bronzer, but it's new to me and I have been loving it. Blush. Again, I have a few, like 4 blushes, so I'm only going to talk about 2. This one I have on my skin today, and it is the Dior Blush, Rouge Blush 459 Charnel. So this is what it looks like. I believe I got this in the last VIB event, and I love it. Again, it's what I have on my cheeks. It is more of a matte blush, but it to me is the perfect neutral, peachy, slight pink color. Oh, it's just so pretty. And it, again, not having like a super high shine to it, it's really flattering on all skin types. I really, really, really like this. And I need to look into more. I just got the new holiday number 219 blush from Dior, which I can't wait to try. But this one is definitely something to keep in mind when you are adding to cart. This one, y'all know I'm going to talk about, but I had to because it is not a cheap blush, but it is one of my very favorites. It's Tom Ford Inhibition. It made it into probably my last 2 or 3 top 5 blushes. So I've talked about this recently, but this is also a matte blush, and I believe it's $63. So what better time to get a discount on that? It's very similar to the last one that I showed you. It's right here. It's got a little bit more peach in it, I feel like, than Charnel does. Yeah. Let me show you another one that's a different color family, shall I? I was only going to show you 2. This one is from Patrick Ta, and it is called She's Seductive. I've only tried this one color, but oh, it is gorgeous. It is also a very, very, very pretty eyeshadow. This is also a matte blush. You can see it definitely has a different undertone. It's more of a mauve color. It doesn't have any peach in it like the other 2. Any of these are great. And just because I'm talking about a certain color does not mean that's the only one I recommend, because typically within a blush range, the formula is the formula. Now you might get one that has a little more shimmer or sheen to it than one that is more matte. But typically if I'm saying I love that Inhibition, I'm gonna like all of Tom Ford's blushes. I also have Frantic Pink, and it's fabulous. So just take the colors with a grain of salt. Obviously if you like them, that's great. But it's really the blush lines in general that I'm talking about. I'm only going to mention one highlight. I do have a few that I will link, but this is the one that I have on my face today. And this is kind of like what I was talking about, where it falls in the midline of prices. This is definitely not the most expensive highlighter that you can purchase. But honestly, to me, it is so gorgeous. And I'm like, why not get some percentage off while I can? This is from Clinique, and it is the Powder Pop Flower Highlighter in Lunar Pop. So it's got a pretty like flower design, which in the middle it's completely gone because I use it so much. This is a baked gelée formula, and it is a peach undertone. If you do not know, peach is my all-time favorite undertone for a highlighter. If you're gonna put a champagne, a rosy, and a peach in front of me, I will reach for the peach every time. That rhymed. I will reach for the peach. So this is the highlighter, and obviously a very heavy swatch, but it's the one that I have on today. Love it so much. I love the formula. I also have the bronzer in this Baked Gelée formula from Clinique, and it's fabulous. Obviously, I'm going to link my Hourglass ambient lighting powders. I'm not going to talk on these long because, I mean, I talk about them all the time. These are the two that I rotate through. This is Radiant Light, and this is the new or the newer Infinity powder. Both are great for the buffing stage, which is how I use these powders. The very end of my makeup, I almost dropped that. I will take a dual fiber brush and I will buff my entire face to get rid of any harsh lines, to dial down anything maybe I was a little heavy-handed with. It is a staple in my routine. And while there are probably hundreds of different powders that you could do that step with, the Hourglass are always the ones that I go to. Let's talk about eyes really quickly. This, I feel like, has shown up in the past 2 or 3 recommendations videos, but it is the Viseart Neutral Mattes Malou palette. I can't recommend this enough. I've talked about this a lot, and y'all are probably like, you've talked about it so much, I've already gotten it. Why are you showing it? But if there's anybody new that doesn't have this, please look into getting this. Viseart is not a cheap brand. However, you get a ton of product for the price. You get a lot of variation in color, and the formula cannot be beat. I have this one color, this pink color right here, which is probably my favorite in the whole palette, on smudged under my eye today. And I love this, especially for the fall. When I look at this, this screams fall to me. I can't get enough of it. The palette that I have on the rest of my eyes is also from Viseart, and it is the Petite Pro in Midsummer. So I've done a whole makeup or an eye look with this that was requested. I love these Petite Pro palettes. I also have Solstice, which is more of a peachy undertone palette. And I hope you can still get this one. This is apricotine. I don't know. I dropped it and broke that gorgeous gold color, but I tried to press it back in. That's like a more orange based, where the Solstice is more peachy, and it's got that really pretty pink duochrome. These are so convenient for travel. And again, it's Viseart, so you cannot beat the quality. So I have this color on top of the next product I'm going to talk about, and then I mix these 2 colors in the crease. So I can't recommend them enough. They are not that expensive, which means you could stock up and get even more once you put the discount towards it. Now, what I have on top, or what I have beneath that Viseart, is an eyeshadow crayon. I talk about eyeshadow crayons all the time, but I had to highlight these are my 3 favorite from Laura Mercier. I have Nude Rose on underneath that lid color that I showed you. And it is so pretty. So pretty. I also love Sunrise, which is more of like a peach color. It's definitely more subdued. So if you like a softer look, or if you are very fair skinned, that's gonna look gorgeous. This is my favorite one of all time. This is probably the 3rd one that I've gone through, and I only have that much left before I have to buy another one, and you rest assured I will buy another one. This is my favorite eyeshadow crayon out of every eyeshadow crayon ever, and it is copper. These are very, very long lasting. They're great by themselves. They're great as a base for other eyeshadows. And there are so many colors to choose from that you are going to find something that you love. Let's talk about perfume, because I have really gotten into perfume lately, and I feel like this is a great time to buy a fragrance, because they do tend to be a little bit on the pricier side. The first one I'm going to talk about is one, again, that I've talked about a lot. This is from Replica, and it is called Lipstick On. This is going to be the more sweet, I feel like. It does have like a sweet undertone. It's Night Blush and Rice Powder is the fragrance description. It's really hard to describe this one, and I feel like you either love it or you hate it. I am in the camp that absolutely loves it. In fact, I haven't put perfume on, so I'm going to put this on today. There's something very feminine about it, but it's not overly floral. I think that rice powder does give like a sweet undertone to it. I really, really like this. This one I just talked about in my favorites video, the Yves Saint Laurent Y fragrance. This is more of a men's scent as far as smelling like cologne versus perfume, but I like to smell like a man. I love men's cologne. I love this. If you want to hear more about it, you can check out my favorites video. This one I got in the last sale, and it's probably the only floral fragrance or fragrance that has floral undertones that I would probably ever recommend. I'm not huge on florals. I've never liked them. They've not been a favorite of mine, but I do really like this. This is the Dolce & Gabbana #3 La Imperatrice. I hate how they make me do this. This is described as being a succulent, exotic fruit fragrance with bright pink florals. They give way to a musky, appetite-arousing base. Now, I don't know about that, but that kind of gives you an idea. It doesn't give me any kind of top notes or anything on the Sephora site, but I do really like this. I do think that it mixed in with the fruitiness helps like tramp down the florals a little bit. And it's become one of my favorite summer perfumes. So I know we're going into fall and winter, but it's still, I mean, I also am someone who, I'm like, if I want to smell like fruit and floral, I'm going to wear this no matter what month it is. You know, so keep that in mind too. I have a few random categories, and I'm only going to talk about a couple of things because, again, it's just time, y'all. It's turned into such a long video. I do have to talk about the Cinema Secrets All Natural Brush Soap. I love this so much. This is my second tin. I know I've talked about the Sephora brush cleaner that comes like in a tin. However, it's much smaller than this. Yes, it's a little bit cheaper too. However, this one lasts way longer than I think even 2 of the Sephoras would. I've only had to repurchase this once, and I've had it since, I want to say April. This does have like a brush cleaning silicone mat that comes in the top, but I use this for my sponge. I keep it in this bathroom over here, and every morning I wash my sponge in it, and I absolutely love it. I love the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Set and Refresh Spray. You can see how much I've used of it. It is a biphase that you're meant to shake up. I do feel like this is a great setting spray, and I do feel like it keeps your makeup on a little bit longer without making your face feel really tight or dry or uncomfortable. So I really like that as well. Have a couple of skincare things, just 2. I will link those down below, but let's get into my wish list. Now, I'm not going to go over my whole wish list because I don't want to A, ruin the haul video, and B, show you how much I'm wanting. That's a little excessive. But a couple of things. I really, really, really hope that this comes back in stock because I want to try so badly the Kilian Discovery Mini Set. Again, I'm really into fragrance right now, and the Kilian fragrances sound right up my alley when I read the descriptions of them. It is out of stock right now. It is $195, so I would really like to be able to get that 20% off, and I'm hoping that it comes back in stock before I can't shop anymore. So that is kind of the fragrance that is on my wish list. I also am interested in just the Kilian Black Phantom perfume, but that is $240, and I just don't know if I'm going to be able to pull the trigger on that. The fragrance family is right up my alley. It's warm, spicy, sweet gourmand with keynotes of rum, coffee, and vetiver. I mean, that might as well say Mandy Davis perfume on it. It's everything I like. I also am interested in trying the Tom Ford Lost Cherry perfume. Now, they do have a set with the big bottle and the travel spray. I only want the travel spray because I'm not trying to spend $340 on the set. A couple of foundations. I'm kind of interested in restocking my Dior Air Flash foundation that I haven't had in a couple of years, but also Huda Beauty came out with a foundation stick that I'm interested in trying. So we'll see about that. Oh my goodness. I have my Living Proof dry shampoo in here. I didn't even talk about that. I didn't even think about my hair recommendations. Basically anything from Living Proof. I'll put a hair section in my recommendation for my links because I love Living Proof, but I do need to restock my dry shampoo, and they have the duo kit with the full size, and basically you get the travel size free. I did an Instagram post about a company called Rituals. They had sent me some products to review, and I love them so much that I have another body cream in my cart that I'm contemplating getting. This is the Karma body cream, where right now I have the Sakura body cream. I'm looking at possibly getting another Dior eyeshadow quint. I have two of them, but the one called Mitza 689 is really calling my name. It's pretty browns and bronzes and golds, which again, is right up my alley. And without giving away the rest of my wish list, I will mention that the Jouer Cosmetics Blush and Bloom Cheek and Lip Duo has really caught my eye ever since they launched it, and it is in the color Uplift, which I believe is the lightest color. It just looks really pretty, and from the swatches that I've seen on Instagram, it looks like I would really enjoy it. And I do love cream blush. Also have a Tower 28 cream blush on my wish list as well that y'all told me that I would love in Magic Hour. I hope y'all made it through this video, or at least took advantage of the timestamps, because I know that it was long. So let me know down in the comment section what you are most excited about getting during this VIB event. Again, I will leave all the links down below, all the information about the event if you don't know about it already. So be sure and check that out. I hope you're all staying happy, safe, healthy, and sane, and most of all, that you go out and have a very blessed day.